but he beat the heat flicker. Is alone and the only thing can make a Rico be sicker. So listen and get your wisdom gemstones on your head top. With the OG like Flintstones, good and live. Living a long time and you got something to say. Depending on how you feeling, or you might got something to pray. Type of influence that he ain't got to do your liver. We in the studio, rock on let the heat rock simmer.
Hey, what's up? What's up? We framing it. What we doing? We starting. All right. Listen. What's up? Welcome to another episode of In the Studio with Rob. Hey, we're doing something a little different now. We got a studio audience and we got a panel that we're going to talk with today. So again, I want to thank the panel. Hey, and even before we get to the panel, I want to make sure I shout out Russia. I want to send a shout out to Russia because I had somebody in Russia check out my podcast. I had someone in the DR check out my podcast. So thanks to the brothers in the DR for checking out the podcast. Hey, so again, for everybody who's listening, I appreciate it. Now, for the ones that's in the studio audience, this is my family. So, hey, what's up, family?
Gang is here.
I have my nieces and then my nephew behind me. They're going to talk a little bit and kind of get an insight from a young perspective. Again, you're going to hear some noise that you may not have heard on other podcasts while we was talking because I got some young nieces and nephews in here as well. So, hey, it's family. So we're going to make some noise. We're going to have fun, though, all right?
Would you like to introduce?
Yeah, we're going to do it. It looks like introduction, but first I got to give a shout out to my man. Got Israel with me.
Yeah.
Right, he always, putting the sounds down and, doing the tracks and everything and making sure I stay in line. So thank you, Israel. And
yes, sir.
Behind me and beside me, I'm going to start, I would say oldest to youngest, but I don't want to even say that. I'm going to just introduce it. They don't nobody have to know how old they are. So I'm going to start with my nephew since he's the only fella that's hanging with me right now. Hey, yo, tell the people your name, man. Tell the people your name.
I'm Andrew. 17.
Andrew, 17. Woo! Thank you, Andrew, for showing up. Pass it to your cousin, Andrew.
I'm Jordan, and I'm 18.
Jordan, thank you, baby. I appreciate you being here. Go.
How old are you?
I'm Danielle, and I'm old enough.
All right.
Hi guys, I'm Ryan. I'm not ashamed. I'm the oldest. I am 38.
Wow. So as you know, we got a range. We got some age range here. So a different perspective. Now, if you follow or listen to any of the podcasts before, you will know that I've talked about friendship. I've talked about the relationship between parents and adult children. I've talked about dating. And so what we're going to do right now is I'm going to go back in time a little bit with some of those conversations and get some young perspective on it. I'm going to tell them what I said and things I think is important, but I want to hear how they take those things and what they're thinking about it as well. I know some of you out listening and watching the podcast have, gave some of your insights on it as well. So I appreciate you guys and the love that you've been giving. So don't know if my family going to give the same love. So we're going to find out. So, real quick, when we talked about friendship, one of the things I said about friendship is that when you have to know that when you're picking friends or you're looking for friends, it also depends on what kind of friend you're going to be. So as you're talking about, I want a friend, I'm looking for friends, and are you friendly? Why aren't you meeting friends? Maybe you're not a friendly person. So then you wonder, well, I can't meet nobody. Of course you can't meet nobody because you're walking around with a frown on your face. Now, that's my perspective on it, that you got to actually have something to bring to the friendship. You can't just say, I want people to be my friend. But you got to bring something to that relationship. So what I'm going to do now, though, because I don't want to just talk about what I said, because you can go back and watch the podcast again if you didn't hear it. But I want to know what my niece, and I'm going to take the one that's not ashamed of her age first. And I want her to kind of tell me, give me some things that when you say, I'm looking for a friend or I want a friend, what are some of the qualities that you look for?
That's a good question, actually, which I do agree there should be a sense of reciprocity. It should not just be me taking and not having anything to give back. So I do agree with that sentiment. My friendships are interesting, and I tell them that often because I moved around so a lot as a kid. Once I got stable, I became very possessive in my friendships. And what I really appreciate for my friends, not granted, this is just one perspective, is that they take me as I am. Because I think I'm a terrible friend. I'm not someone who checks in regularly. Sometimes I'm going to forget things. If you ask me to be somewhere, I'll show up. But I'm not on my phone thinking, oh, let me call so-and-so to check on them. So I appreciate people that understand you and meet you where you are, and still give you that grace when you're in a relationship with them. So that's important for me as a friend.
And that's great. And, you know, and we talked about that even before, because I talked about a friend of mine that's been my friend for over 30 years, and we talk every once in a while, but if he needs me, he know I'm going to be there. And if I need him, he going to be there. But we don't talk all the time. We got things going on. You got life. So I agree with that. You know, and one of the other things I said, and I'm going to throw this to my young nephew, I said don't be thirsty for friends. Because when you thirst after a friendship, you're usually going to pick have bad people come into your life because you're just tracking. You're like, I got to get friends. I got to be this. And you end up having the wrong people come into your life. So, nephew, talk to me. How do you feel when you know, because I'm pretty sure you're on the wrestling team, you're doing your thing in school. So, if you had friends or you got people coming up to you and just like really overly trying to bring you or be your friend, how does that make you feel?
I don't think that really ever happened to me. Somebody really trying to be my friend.
Okay.
Like, we're trying to be my friends. I would take what they say with like a grain of salt. I wouldn't. Cause I feel like there's something behind that. Just someone always trying to be my friend.
Yeah. And see, and it's funny because I actually said that in the first one. I said that I had people that used to try to attract me, like, yo, I'm gonna get down with Rob. I'm gonna go out. I want to be. It was either, and men have this thing. I always say that, you know, if you trying so hard to be my friend, either you're afraid of me or you jealous of me. One or the other. Because real friendship just develop. You know, we talking, we playing ball, we want different things, and it kind of develop. But when you just pressing that issue, it's probably one of those two things. You either jealous of what's going on in my life, or you're afraid that I'm going to hurt you, and you trying to stay close. So I agree with you, man. If somebody's coming at you that hard, you got to be careful and really watch out how they coming at you. So so I agree with you totally. If I move off of the friendship though, I want to throw this to Jordan, and just Jordan, tell me your friends. Tell me what makes a friend special to you.
For me, most of my closest friends are people I just like accidental friendships, like, oh, hey, can you help me with this real quick, like we in class, or a friend of a friend that now is one of my best friends.
Okay.
So it's just once you pick up on a vibe, you know, if y'all cool, but that too friendly thing puts me off, honestly.
Okay.
Because it's like, I think you might want a friend, but you're trying too hard.
Trying too hard, I agree. Thank you. And again, you know, so what y'all telling me is that I'm not too far off in the things I said when it comes to young people as well, so I appreciate that. Now, the next, not young as these two, but not, it's still a year young.
You said 40, right? My bad. I thought you said 40.
So, Danielle, so if you don't mind, tell me what turns you off when it comes to people looking to be your friend. What would turn you off?
That's a really good question.
I try to come up with some good ones. That's me.
And I don't like people who don't, I think as a friend, I'm looking for different characteristics that other people don't look for. And I'm looking for people that kind of match my energy. And if you so far, I think people don't talk about how friends need to meet you where you at in life.
Right.
And a lot of times people are, they're like, oh my gosh, I'll do this friend don't talk to me anymore. But I think sometimes not everybody's meant to go with you. And your friends kind of match, you know, and if you get a good friend, they'll match every stage of your life. But a lot of times friends match who you are and what's important to you, what you got going on. So a turn off would be somebody who's not growing with you.
Right. And that's cool. And because one of the things I said was that as we, you know, some people are short term, and that's fine. You come into my life, we have a good time, and we move on. But then those other people, like I said, I got man Terry, and it's been 30 plus years, and we're gonna rock together, you know, because we've grown. We've been in the party stage, chasing women together, We've been in the married stage trying to keep each other out of trouble together. We've grown and and so we've seen the changes in each other's life. But one thing I say about a friend is always going to try to push you to be better and promote you and try to help you get to your maximum potential. If you got people pulling on you and trying to bring down or show you what you're not, probably some people you need to get away from, because you can't be rocking with people that's trying to bring you down. So again, I appreciate the friend part. We're gonna move to one I think that might even have an audience, looking a little crazy.
Hey, wait. Before you do that. And no, it's not even time for the people yet.
It ain't time for the people. I got people with me.
I do think you should show your cup off though.
I'll show my cup off. I will show my cup off.
This is a good time in between
I
time.
hope people can see this cup. This cup right here. It says in the studio with Rob. Hey, it's hot. I love this cup. And I'm like, look, this cup was made for me by my niece over here. Danielle, I appreciate you. Hey, and I don't know if she's selling these, if she do something. Go ahead. What you do?
And you like purchase his merchandise? Yes, there's gonna be a link attached to this video.
All right, so now you know. So again, you can get your own in the studio with Rob stuff or whatever else she want to make for you. So that's good looking out. I appreciate that. So now, like I said, one of the things that we talked about, and I'm hoping that you guys are able to wrap your head around what they're gonna say, because we talked about the dynamics of a parent dealing with their adult child or adult children. And I used a lot of, I talked about my relationship with my son when he came back home from school. And one of the things that we talked about was how, I had to adjust and he had to adjust to being back. You're a grown man now, you finished school, but to me, you still my baby. And I was treating him as such. And he would say something and we get into it and I'm like, yo, man, shut up, stop talking to me. And I'm treating him like a kid, which was totally disrespectful. And he was being respectful in that he didn't respond, but he was also not understanding that, and it was my fault that I needed to give him permission to say, Dad, yo, you stepping over the line. I'm your son. I'm still, you can't talk to me any kind of way. And so, as we, some of the things I talked about was how I, apologized to him and let him know, because I see you a certain way and you are grown, I need to give you permission. So I'm giving you permission that if I step over that line, you call me. You call me on that. And so you say, Dad, that's out of pocket, man. You don't talk to me like that. Because nobody got the right to disrespect you. Especially as a grown man, grown woman, nobody should be disrespecting you. But I also talked about having that grace. And grace for your parent. Grace for your child, both ways. So that when we do cross over, we have enough grace to say, hey, I messed up, let me go back and fix it. And I'm not looking at it from a negative where all of a sudden I hate my mom, I hate my dad, or whoever. No, they just messed up, just like we messed up as young people, or not young people, but y'all mess up, we mess up as parents, because we trying to figure this thing out. So, with that said, and I know you two, just starting, so you might have a little less to say, but y'all, you had a little something, so we're gonna see what y'all have to say about this too. How do you feel? And I'm not even gonna call anybody, whoever wants to chime in on this first. Tell me a challenge you had after you became an adult, but you're still at home. What was your challenge in dealing with your parent?
I would like to say, this may be a little controversial, but a lot of times growing up you hear, I'm not your friend, I'm not your little friend. But I think it's important to be your child's friend. Now when we hear that phrase, we think, the negative parts of friendship, but if you think about the positive parts, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to give you positive energy, I'm going to give you support. I feel like as parents, we have multiple hats. Yes, be a friend, be a mom too. And because when they turn 18 and 19, you're trying to figure out why we don't talk. Why you don't call me? You're not my friend. You're not my friend, I'm a friend. So I think it's important to, yes, be a mom and also open that door to friendship as you're going through life. It shouldn't be a new thing when you turn 18 that you want to be friends now. And you want to go to school now. Okay. And you want to call you now.
So let me ask this then. Okay. And we're going to stick on the friendship part for that. Because I'm not necessarily their friend, my kid's friend, but we are friendly. and we can hang out, we can laugh, we can watch the games together, or I can, spend time with my daughters, and we can have a good time together. But we ain't friends necessarily. So there's limits because I'm still your dad. So there's certain things your friends and you do that you ain't gonna ever do with me. I ain't drinking with you. I ain't partying with you. We ain't that. So there. But at the same time, there is a friendly relationship. And I'm thinking that what you get into.
I think that goes back to what I was saying. When we think about friendships, you just listed the negative part of a friendship, the drinking, the partying. There's friends that I have that we're starting businesses and going to church, and I want to be that positive friend to my child.
Right. I agree with that. I mean, but can't you? But is that if I'm supporting you in your venture, your business, and we go to church together, so we can do that. So like I said, I can do that with my kids. I don't have a problem with that. And we do that. We talk. And in fact, this podcast is because of, the help with my sons. They all got a part in this. My daughter's been giving me information. So they all play a part in this development in this podcast. But at the same time, I think they understand that there's levels to what you or how you talk to your father, even at any age. It's like, yo, you still my dad, so I can't. And I had to learn this with my mom. Is that I'm always gonna reverence you as my mother. I'm always gonna reverence you as my father. So it's certain things I'm just not gonna share with you because of your standing in life and who you are over me versus we're not friends or we can't talk about whatever. Because I can still go to my mom with, and I could share my life with her, but in a certain part I'm not gonna share because it was beneath her, so to speak.
I think parents need to know that we need y'all so we can share. Mm-hmm. There's some friends and people out here that we can't trust. The person who raised me, know who I am, I want to be able to share every aspect of my life with you. But when you become only my mom and only my dad, I'm limited. And I don't even want to come around.
So let me ask you this. If you share, because again, this is what a friend do. No matter, if you're my friend, and you share with me everything, your friend has the right to respond to you however your friend responds to you. Because your friend is being your friend. They telling you told them what you thought, they telling you what they thought. Your parent would do the same thing. So do you think that maybe your parent, you share something with your parent, and then they gave you their thought, their opinion, or their upbringing and background back to you, and now you saying, well, you being my parent versus you share with me, I'm telling you something.
I think
so. Why can't you take? You should be strong enough. You should be mature enough as a certain age to say, okay, if I can tell you this, I can take what you tell me, and not look at it as there's a gap or there's a problem.
And that's why establishing that you're my friend as I'm going through my teenage awkward stages, my college years, establishing you need to have multiple hats, my mom and my friend.
True.
And I think that gap will be bridged in my 20s and 30s if we already had that. And it's not brand new to us.
Okay.
But a lot of times the older generation want to make it brand new. Oh, you finally married, we need to go to the store and get this decoration for your house. I don't need you now. I got other friends. I got other people I can talk to.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this in that part that I talked about. It was, don't come up with new rules. And what I meant by that is that if we are, as you say, friend or friendly, because again, I think you should be friendly with your children. But even when they're young, you're going to have to whip that behind sometimes. That's just me. Everybody don't whip their kids, that's on y'all. You do what you got to do. But me personally, I whip some behind. I ain't gonna lie. Okay. However, even with that, I'm be the first one to hug you. I'm be the first one that take you to your game. I'm gonna be the first one to teach you everything that I think you need to learn, or as much as I can teach you. I'm gonna be there on the ground floor with you. I'm gonna be behind if you need it. So I think you were able to separate or be able to understand that, yeah, as you talked about multiple hats, yeah, you gotta wear those hats. And it is hard to establish a friendship with a 30-year-old that I don't have nothing in common with. So then I may have to accept that we ain't gonna be friends. You just gonna be my child. We may not be friends. It ain't not. Look, if that's the case, then that's the case. We may have to accept that.
That's another thing about your generation as well. Y'all accept, instead of working at that, you accept the fact that we may not never be. I love the fact that some parents, or even me as a mom, I don't care what the gap is, we're gonna bridge it. I'm gonna figure out, because you go to work, you wear a hat. You meet people at church, you wear a hat. Why you can't have a hat on with me?
So, okay, but why you wait? So again, if I say that, if I'm one of those people, and again, I'm not that person, but if I wanted to say, all right, I try to be your friend, you say, well, we ain't never had one since we was a kid, then why don't you, as now an adult, you figure out how to make your mother or your father your friend if they don't know how to do it? So if they don't know how, if they come to the conclusion that I don't know what to do, you're an adult now. You still looking at them and you saying you want to be friends, but now you are allowing their response to you to say, well, you just gave up. Well, why didn't you keep going? You're an adult too now. We both adults. So don't just, it can't be, if it's not just one way, then don't make it one way. It can't be one way when it suits you. It has to be, if it's going to be both ways or it's not. If I'm going to be the parent and have to push this relationship, then you can't complain when it get pushed or don't get pushed. Or you can say, we are friends, I'm an adult too. I'm going to push the relationship with my parent and make sure it happens. Because I think it's important. And if they don't know what to do, because maybe they didn't have that with their parents or no one ever taught them how to do it, so I'm going to do it.
I agree. I think on every level, everyone has to relearn how to be productive African Americans in this culture. A lot of it was some bad teaching that generations had before us. So yeah, it is important that all of us learn how to interact with each other and culture.
Mm-hmm.
Hey Rob, can I call you Rob?
Yeah, for this you can.
Okay, hey Rob. So, if I may, it sounds like you two, and a little bit of this is my first-hand knowledge and experience with you. You two are kind of saying the same thing, and it's just you don't. I think that you don't understand that you're using friendly, but you have worn multiple hats. So
right.
You've always established that you're my dad first,
Right.
Rob. But
Right.
but you've also been friendly, worn that hat. You've been my friend at times where I just want to talk to you, and this is as a child, as a teenager. We've spoken, and it's been conversations where I know I'm talking to you in confidence. This
Right.
conversation isn't leaving us. I'm talking to my OG type of conversation.
Right.
You told me, whether it's about sex and blah blah blah. So when there was some type of maybe I was stepping out of line in certain areas, you put that dad hat back on, discipline.
Right.
But then, as long as afterwards, you would let me know how you felt about things or why we had to go the route we went. So as an adult, I don't require a bunch of parenting.
Right.
I require you as a companion a lot of times,
Right.
and so a lot of the time that we spend together is because as an adult I want to spend time with you.
Right.
Because let's say we weren't friends or friendly or whatever, I may not come over or may not call as much as I call, or you call as much as you call, or I may not pick up when you call. I don't know. Just
Right.
A lot of things could and would be different if we were not friends or we did not have some type of friendship established early on.
Right.
So you're not completely disagreeing with her. I think it's more of
no,
a.
I'm not disagreeing with her at all. I actually totally agree with her. But what I'm saying is, what I always say is, responsibility for any relationship that you want is yours. It is not the other person's responsibility. What we do is we look for, we take, it's almost like we're pushing, but then when they do something wrong, it's like, well, I'm not going to do anything because it's on them. Well, I ain't saying maybe they don't know how. All I'm saying is that if you want a relationship, any kind of relationship, no matter who it's with, if you want that relationship, then you fight for the relationship. If it ain't worth fighting for you, then don't fight for it. That's on you too. You got to decide for yourself. But don't blame everybody else or other people for the type of relationship you have when you don't give 110% of yourself. Because what happens, people say, I give 50 and they give 50. No. If you want a real relationship, it's 100 and 100. I give 100, you give 100. And I'll give 100 until you are able to give 100 if it's that important to me. When we went through things as a father, son, or even my daughter, okay, I'm going to step back and give you some space, but I'm going to constantly let you know that I'm here when you're ready. So I'm never going to give up. And the same thing, I think I felt this with you in certain places where when we had conflict, you may have stepped back and say, okay, I'm going to give you time. But you reach back and say, hey, I'm still here. And so again, it is never just a one-sided relationship. I think for me, it's with all my children, like even the ones that get mad and they don't want to talk for a while, okay, don't talk. I send you a text every once in a while and say, hey, I love you, just to let you know I'm still here when you're ready. So I'm never going to just never give up on you and never just say it's your fault. Because I know I own a piece of every bad relationship I ever had in my life. I own that. I own pieces of it. I own a lot of it in some cases, but it's on me to fix it if I want it fixed. So yeah, I think that's just the whole thing about relationship. You got to own that. You got to own your relationships and make sure that if like, and my dad and I weren't always close. We had issues, but as he grew and as I grew, we became closer and closer and developed a relationship that is now built on trust and built on respect. He respects who I am and I respect who he's become. I don't look back on what he didn't do when I was young or where he was. I ain't got time for that. I look for, right now, I'm looking at, if you are here now, today, and you trying to have a relationship with me, we have a relationship. I can deal with that. I don't need to remember, oh, he didn't come to my school graduation. It hurt when I was in high school. I'm about to have my 40th class reunion. I don't care that he wasn't there 40 years ago. He there now.
For real?
So, yeah, for real. It's a long time ago. So that's the whole thing, is like, I try to stay with people in where they are in the moment and not always look back. Not to say that you can't, you have to, sometimes you have to go back to fix and heal. But I'm not going to stay there. Yes, ma'am.
Because it was two things that came to my mind, but I'm going to speak specifically on this idea of the healing part. Because you sound like you're coming from a very healed place. Mm-hmm. You're very sure of yourself. You understand the dynamic of relationships and how those things work, and you're willing to do the work. There are a lot of us, and I'm speaking specifically to like people in millennial, my age, that are broken as a result of experiences that we went through. And to no fault of our parents or anybody, they were doing the best they could. Right. And we, of course, have to deal with the consequences of that. I don't think we can get to a place where we can be the one to seek that relationship and seek the healing in that relationship when we ourselves are not fully healed or prepared for that.
Well, let me just check that for 1 second. When I say your healing is something that you work on yourself. Right. Your healing doesn't come from the other person.
Correct.
So as you're working on a relationship, maybe it's not time for that relationship to blossom and be locked in like that, because maybe you do have to heal. But as you heal, you have to understand that I'm healing. So mom, dad, cousin, uncle, whoever it is, we don't need some space until I'm ready. Right. And they have to respect your space. But again, this is where we set up boundaries too. I need a safe space. I had a time where I had to not be around my father and the way he was doing it, because it would make me want to hurt people because of the way he made me feel sometimes. So I needed space, but I had to heal from that. But I couldn't do that in your presence. Right. So I needed to pull away for a while. But not to say I didn't call every once in a while and say, yo, I still love you. Right. But I'm not going to be, I can't, or if I go by and see you, I'm going to spend a couple minutes, but now I got to go. Just to let you know, hey, everything's cool. But I need to be fixed first. And so for you and any other millennial that's saying, well, I need to heal, then yes, you do. Go find your healing. Sometimes you need to pull away from people that hurt you for a while. But then once you are healed, then go back and say, okay, I'm better. We may not have the relationship that we had, or what was. That relationship will never be the same. It don't mean we can't have a better relationship, because one, we're going to have a better relationship because I'm in a better place and I understand who can get where and how I allow people to hurt me. I told my son one thing. It's like, you should never let people that, it's like you're allowing people to control your emotions. To control, why? I mean, even me, I shouldn't be breaking you. You need to get away from me. If I'm that person that's breaking you down, then you need to get away from me until you're strong enough to say, okay, what you're doing is hurtful to me, and we can't be rocking like this for a while. So yes, the healing part, you got to heal yourself before you go and fix a relationship or even attempt to fix a relationship. Heal yourself, because if you don't, what you're going to do is you're going to keep going back and the same things happen over and over again, because you're going to be so vulnerable to that person that they're going to always take advantage of you. And we talk about parents, they always going to be your parent. So you need to have a level of respect both ways for each other, but it don't mean we're going to be among each other all the time, right? Especially right now. And then when I feel better, and maybe it is when you get a little older and you changed a little bit, I've changed a little bit, now we can say, okay, now we can be cool. Now I understand what you've done. I don't hold it against you no more. But you can say to me, you wasn't the best son either, but I appreciate you now. Cool, we better, we move forward. But that's growth and healing for me personally. I have to do that for myself. And I'm not looking for my mom to heal me or my dad to heal me. I have to find that healing for myself. And maybe that means I have to turn to somebody else to help me heal, because mom and dad couldn't do it. They broke me or they caused me the pain. So I'm not looking for them to heal me necessarily. I'm going to look over here to get some healing. But I have to also be honest and own the things that I've done. And you can't just say, Mom, you did this, or Dad, you did this, and never look at yourself. Because I tell mine all the time, you wasn't the best child either. I tell you all the problems you caused, but you'll be like, oh, well, no, I was just, no, I accepted your nonsense. So maybe you had to accept some of mine. I messed up just like you messed up. So I'll forgive you. I gave you already. Why don't you forgive me at some point? But again, you do have to heal. I totally agree with you.
Hey, Rob.
He like this Rob thing.
No, but, Rob, we just talking, Rob. So listen, let's say I leave, go by myself. I'm in isolation. I heal. I come back. Do we talk? I'm healed. You're supposed to be healed, or whatever. Do we have a conversation, or do we just ignore that anything ever happened in the relationship?
I think it depends on you. If the hurt person needs to address that other person hurt them, then they should have a conversation. Because if I hurt you, and if I didn't know, first of all, most people don't even know you did something to you. That's the funny part about when people hurt you. A lot of times they don't even know they hurt you. They just did what they normally do. And so you got hurt. And so let's say you walked away. You didn't tell them at that moment. You went away and you said, okay, I figured out how to deal with this hurt. Well, when you come back and you say, I'm stronger, I'm better, this won't happen again. If you need to address that person, then you should address that person. If you feel like that person is like, we don't really have to talk no more, I'm good, then don't talk. That's up to you. You were the injured party. So the injured party has the right to address that person or say, I'm cool, I don't need to talk about it. That's on that injured person. So you're talking about that adult-child relationship, but I knew this would be a little bit more than the other, because even dating, we probably won't get to that too much. But the that adult-child parent relationship is difficult. It's difficult for the parent too. That's what young people have to understand. And when your children leave and come back, or even if they stay and they're full-grown men and women, you're gonna experience some challenges with that. And so, because even if you got, like Ryan is my youngest son. I went through that with him. The other ones came, and not to say that I didn't have issues with them, but it was different for him. So you can have multiple children and still have issues with each one of them, because you're still learning, because what you did with that child is not what you're going to do with this child. How that one responded to you is not going to be the same one the other one respond to you. The one that's on the other side of the mic that keep jumping in, he talk about everything. He going to tell you what he think and how he feel. The other one might not say nothing, so you got to kind of guess what they feel and how they hurt you. So that's something that as parents we learn, and we're trying to continue to learn. So I talked about grace. You have to give your parents grace. They messed up in some cases, You got to give them some grace. They have to give you some grace. Because as a young person, as a 20-something, you won't screw up all the time. Trust me, I was doing some stuff. If my mom had to live with me at that time, she probably would have put me out. So it was, but you have to give young people grace. They're going to grow. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to grow. They keep going. All I can tell you is I need to continue to teach you and help you to grow. But at the same time, I'm going to love you no matter what. And I'm going to let you know I love you through the ups and downs of your early 20s, early 30s, you know, all those things you're going through. We're going to work through it. So that's the grace that I have to give you. And you give me some grace knowing that this is the first time I ever dealt with this child at 20 years old. This is the first time I ever dealt with this child at 25 years old. You ain't the same as the other one. You may be as you perfect as you thought you were, you weren't. And the parents got to figure that out. And we have to figure out how to deal with that. So it's all good. You know, we figure those things out.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah.
The people have questions.
Okay.
The people made an observation.
So what's up, people? And I got some people with me, but
right. So this is actually a special people question because the people have been watching, and the people have been watching Old Cousin Danielle, and Old Cousin Danielle's face says she doesn't like that question. The sentiments about the child having equal ground as far as responsibility in that parent-child relationship. So Danielle, the people would like you to grab a mic and explain yourself.
Yes, I completely had a different perspective. I don't believe when you made a comment. You said you weren't the best child.
You the best child?
It's giving.
Use your words.
You the child. Why don't you call me? It's giving that. I feel like whatever he do under 18, maybe even under 25, I hold it to your mind and not your heart. Cause
right.
I don't think we know what's going on.
But I agree with that. I ain't saying that's not true.
But like you were saying, if I'm the adult and you the child, you grew up, you can reach out to me.
Right.
I feel like no.
Why you
I
can't
feel
reach
like
out
it's
to me?
still as the parent, it's still on me. I feel like it's still on me at least at 25. At least, like if my son graduates high school and at 18 he don't want nothing to do with me, I'm gonna still pursue him.
Right.
I'm still go after you.
Right.
Now when you 35, 40, talking about you don't want nothing to do with me, alright, I'll fall back.
I still do it at 35. I'm still reach out to mine. I'm never gonna stop reaching out and letting you know I love you. I'm not going force myself in your life if you don't want.
Okay.
But I'm never gonna stop.
So,
but I also but see, this is the problem. This is what you have to understand. As the child, and you're trying to grow and you're becoming an adult, then take ownership of your adulthood. Part of your adulthood power that you don't want to give or don't want to take on is that I got the right to tell my mom, to tell my dad, I'm reaching out to say I love you. I'm reaching out to say you hurt me. I'm reaching out to have that dialogue with you because I got some power too in this relationship. I have that power, so you need to know you have that power. Because if you just sitting back waiting for mom or dad to say everything's great and you're gonna be all right, yeah, that may happen. But if it don't happen, you still have some power. So what I don't want you to do, or what young people to do, is don't give up your power. Don't just relinquish your power without tapping into it and saying, look, I got this. I can set boundaries with my mom and dad. I got the right to do that as a young person. As a young adult, I can set boundaries with my parents. I can do that. I don't have to just deal with boundaries they set. They got boundaries because, again, they're adults too, so they can set some boundaries, but I can set them too because I need to be healthy. And so if I don't set boundaries to keep me healthy, that's on me. But me as a dad, my child could be 50, and if I'm still here, I'm going to call my child. I'm going to say, hey, you okay? You need anything? Can I help you? If I can't, can you help me? So, but we gonna have some type of relationship because I want a relationship with my child, with my grandchildren, and everybody else is gonna come behind that. So I agree with you, and you should never stop reaching out to your child.
Hey, Rob. So I want to paint a scenario because I feel like your point is it's based off your experience.
Right,
and
but
her
say is about my experience.
right.
Yeah.
And who and she's speaking to her experience, which
Right.
is a lot different. And so, try to tailor your response to this scenario. So,
Okay.
this child grew up. She has no relationship with her parents because of that 18 years she went through with her parents.
Right.
He's broken.
Right.
She has no interest in a friendship with her parents.
Okay.
So that's different than you and your children who,
Right.
like, let's see me, we've established a friendship
Right.
throughout my entire childhood. So no matter a disagreement or so on, so we can both come back from it.
Right.
Which is very different than a child who's already ready to be away from their parents in
Right.
general. So do you put that responsibility on that child too, who finally got out of a troubling situation, and then
No.
they're not going to reach out? So is it?
There may not be. If you if you're a child, you have no relationship, as you said, with your parents. The fact that you leaving will probably mean that you still ain't gonna have no relationship with your parents because you didn't have a relationship. It's a difference between not having a relationship and having a faulty relationship.
Okay, all right.
So
let's say faulty.
So
let's
if we
say
got
faulty.
a bad relationship, and I can't wait to leave. I'm gonna go join the army, and I'm going far away. You can do that, and you should do that if that's what you need to do in order for you to get healthy. And you should go and live your life and find out certain things that you need to find out. As a parent, if I was the parent of that child that left, then I need to figure out. And again, this is where growth comes from everybody. I need to examine myself and say, why did my child want to leave me so bad? What did I do wrong? And see, and not necessarily blame the child, but I need to examine what did I do wrong. And see, what I keep saying, and you'll hear this over and over again, what's my responsibility to this? My responsibility in this relationship. Okay, if my child left and don't want nothing to do with me, then I've done something wrong. And if all I can do is pick the phone, because maybe I don't know, I have no clue what happened. I pick up the phone, I call my child and say, hey, I'm sorry. I don't know really what happened or how, or maybe I did a lot of things wrong. But if you're willing to tell me, or whenever you're willing to tell me, I'm willing to listen. But I want you to know that I apologize and I love you and I'm sorry. And when you're ready, I'm ready for us to mend this relationship. That's all you can do. And then you allow that child to grow in his or her own way. And when they're ready, they'll reach back and they'll come back and say, all right, Mom, let's talk. All right, Dad, let's talk. And that's fine.
So
but
you
got to do that.
So there is a sense of self-reflection on the parents' part.
It should always be self-reflection.
Right.
Even on good relationships. I look at it all the time. It's like, I didn't do everything right. Because I didn't know how to do everything right. But so I'm always going to self-reflect and look at the relationship and say, all right, what can I do better? But I ain't going to always go back to when you was 2 or say, all right, I got to fix something I did when you was 7. No, I can't fix that. But I can say today, hey, it's a kind of a little something different. We don't kind of communicate the way I would like us to. Is it something I did? I'm okay with that. I would say this about my wife all the time. I apologize to my wife a lot. More than I ever have over the last 5 to 10 years probably. I started apologizing because I had to realize I'm not that good. I'm not always right. I'm not always doing the right thing. So I need to apologize sometimes. And sometimes I can see it. If she was on Scrummy, she'll tell her. It were times early in our relationship where I would say something and I could see it hurt her and I'd walk away. Because I was being stuck in my pride there and I'm like, you heard what I said, and I'm going to deal with that. Now, I say something, I see her, and before I finish it, it was like, ooh, I said that wrong. And I'm going to apologize. I didn't mean it that way. I may have meant that I wanted the change to happen or I wanted something to happen, but I said it wrong. So I need to apologize. That's the same thing you do with your children. And not this, you can apologize to your children. You don't have to assume that you were perfect in any ways. You weren't. And that's why I say the children ain't perfect, we ain't perfect. But as an adult, yeah, I can apologize to my child and I can tell him or her, I made a mistake, I need to do better. And again, you apologize and you move forward. But I think that's part of life. That's part of, again, self-reflection is part of what everybody should be doing. Not just parents. Everybody, if you are a parent, you should be Every time you have a harsh conversation with your child, you can think about and say, could I have said something different or better? And if you could, go say something better. If you didn't, then it is what it is. But at least think about it. Sometimes we don't think about what we do, just do things and say, that's just the way I am. Okay, well, change. There's nothing wrong with change. If the way you are hurts people and brings everybody down, it's a huge problem. And that, again, it goes back to the friend thing. Why ain't got no friend? Because nobody don't like you. Is that something? You ain't nice. That's a you problem. That ain't a me problem. I don't need to be your friend because you hurt me. You bring me down. You depress me. So I don't want to be your friend. So now you know why you ain't got no friends. So again, the same thing with our relationships. We have to make sure our relationships with our parents and our children are one of those relationships where we all are looking at ourselves and saying, how can I do this better?
Yeah.
How can I do this better? How can I fix this? Mom, I'm coming to you. How can I make up? What can I do better? And hopefully mom or dad's gonna say, hey, what can I do better to make our relationship better?
Like Drew has something to say.
Go ahead, Drew.
No, I was just agreeing with what you were saying.
What part?
What do you agree with?
He said mass up.
You know, I remember when you for the parent, it's okay for the parent to reach out to this to the child and then want to form a connection with them, even though that it's the child that feels some type of way about the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, because again, child, again, we all are, we feel stuff. And, you know, a lot of times, you know, like women will say, you know, they'll look at man and be like, well, he don't hurt the way I hurt. We may not hurt the way you hurt, but I still hurt. So it's the same thing. Your child's going to hurt. Your child, and you're going to hurt as a parent. Your child can say something to you that hurt, crush your heart. I need my child to apologize for crushing my heart. Now, my child may not know he or she did it, but then that's on me to say, hey, you hurt me. And so we can't just let things go away and then they continue to do it. I love my kids, but you can't stay in my life and continue to hurt me. My parents love me, but I would hope that they would say, you can't stay in my life if you're going to continue hurting me. Look, you're going to have to stop hurting me. And I ain't talking about they come in late to do the dumb stuff kids do. But I'm talking, if you're going to disrespect me as your parent, cussing at me and just talking down to me, you need to move on. Because that's not healthy for me. And it's church, because trust me, I'm one of those parents that will hurt you. So it ain't healthy for you either to disrespect me in a certain way. So
Look at me like that. I ain't falling for it, all right?
so we have to have a relationship where we're all adults and we're being mature about this thing. So let's apologize to each other. Let's be kind to your mom. Be kind to your dad, because you ain't getting another one. You ain't. I only have one Robert Lamar Sanders. That's the only one I got as my son. I got other sons, but that's the only one I got. So I need to treat him well, because I ain't getting another him. So I have to make sure I do those things. But I can't do those. I'm not self-reflecting and looking at my kids individually, but also looking at myself and saying, how can I grow as a person, as a parent, as a human, just being nicer to people. And so, again, but I also expect the same thing. You can't keep coming at me, talking down to me, and then saying, hey, can I get, you know, that's one of the things I think frustrate parents is like kids be disrespectful and they say, can I have $100? Man, you done lost your mind. You just talked to me or did whatever you, no, we can't do that. So, I mean, it has to go both ways, but it has to be that self-examination of you first. Not, I can't look at my wife, or I can't look at my mom, I can't look at my dad. I gotta look at me first, and then fix me, and then we'll get to them. But if I can't even look at myself critically, why am I looking at somebody else? So again, we have to do those things. So this is on. We've been long, but I want to hit one thing because I want to get the young people in on something. And I don't know if y'all dated yet. I don't know, but if you've had a date or you're thinking about dating. One of the things I said about dating was that dating is a time to find out what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. It's almost like you have a list, and then you almost have to go through dating and checking off things off your list. You like, I went out with her, and I like this about her. I went out with her, I like this about her. Went out with him, he's good here, here, here. but not here. So I'm kind of getting a picture of the type of person I like or things I like and I don't like. So if you are dating or thinking about dating, beginning to date, are you thinking about what you want out of a relationship?
Yeah, kind of. For me, it's like, okay, me and my boyfriend, we broke up back in like July.
Okay.
It just didn't work out. Little senior year love, things like that, right? But for me, it's like, I'm not gonna find somebody perfect because I'm not perfect.
That's true.
So I wouldn't expect you to be perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. But I do expect you to have just as much respect for me as I have for you.
Okay. So let me ask you this, in the back row back there, bruh. I need you to speak up and ask this question. I know Mom's sitting here, but I got a question for you. So, social media, and you see the Instagram models, is that what you looking for in a girl, or are you looking for something else? And if so, what is that else?
I'm looking for something else.
What is that?
I like big butts and things.
Probably somebody that was good on the inside, not the outside.
Okay.
With a good personality.
Okay.
Where personalities.
So with that.
Outside matters. Just
No,
a little bit.
outside matters,
Just a little bit.
but it matters to everybody differently. That's the thing.
That's true.
You could, if I pick a ugly somebody that everybody say, oh, she's ugly, but to me she was cool. She looked good. She treated me even better. I think what happens, and this is why in the dating part we talked about social media and the influence, the negative influence it has on dating. You got women that's looking for somebody that's making $500,000 to be able to fly them here and fly them there, and then they getting mistreated. But he can fly you anywhere and buy you stuff. And you got guys looking for the Instagram model, but she don't look like that when she take all that stuff off. But then she got no personality. As opposed to looking for somebody or having an idea of what it is I need in a relationship. And that's where you talk about making a plan, having a plan. You have a plan for your life, you should have a plan for your dating as well. What am I looking for? How do I like being treated? Because a lot of times you don't even know early on as you go out. Some people say, well, I don't want a girl that opens the door for herself, or I want a guy who opens the door for me. Maybe that ain't a big deal for you at all, but you won't even know until you go through certain things. So having a plan and talking, kind of figuring out what it is I'm looking for, it makes it a lot more better when you are able to narrow down. You ain't gonna find everybody can check every box on your list, but if they can check the important ones, and then you can build from there. But dating helps with that.
Yeah, and Drew he's on point on a serious note, because personality, honestly, it can make you look better or worse.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. Your personality can take you up 3 points.
Oh yeah.
Or down, and you can look really good until you start talking. So definitely.
I've seen a lot of that. Been around people that be like, "Oh, she's so fine." Boy, I can't hold a conversation with this person, and it's frustrating. You trying to talk to somebody, and they keep saying, "Well, what you mean?" So what does that mean? Like, are you really this dumb? You can't be this dumb. You're too pretty to be this dumb. But it's frustrating. So it's like, nah, I need somebody that's gonna stimulate my mind and be somebody that's gonna compliment me more than just when we go out. We gotta be, when there's nobody around, we sitting there talking, we gotta enjoy this conversation. And it can't be where it's like, oh, you keep asking me the same question over and over again. You ain't get this yet? This joke was said 3 days ago and you ain't get this joke yet? And I mean, personally, I leave somebody with a sense of humor. And everybody, some people don't laugh, that's cool. If y'all don't need sense of humor, that's fine. Me, you don't have to be funny, but I want you not to be afraid to laugh. So, like, my wife is not going to tell you a bunch of jokes, but at least she laughed at some of my jokes. And sometimes she don't, but that's cool too.
Now, she got a good fake laugh.
So that works too, bro. Look, because I'll figure out later, she didn't even mean that.
That wasn't the real one.
Yeah, but at least, you should have somebody with a sense of humor. I want to be able to laugh. Life is so stressful at times. You got to have some fun in your marriage. You got to have some fun when you're dating. You got to have fun with your friends. You can't be always stressed out. I go to work. I got to deal with these crazy people at work. I come home. I got to deal with a crazy person at the house that never smile. It's like, man, I'm just toss her out the window and start over. I'm joking.
Before you continue, though,
Yes, ma'am.
One thing that you didn't mention, and I think for me, as you know, I'm young, I'm in college, I know what I want to do.
Okay.
For me, it's like, if we're the same age, what do you want to do in life? What's your ambition?
Right.
Can you help me get to where I want to be, and can I help you get to where you want to be?
That's important as far as to help you get there, because in a way, sometimes the way the person helps you get there is by staying out your way. So, and what I mean by that, I gotta study. They respect the fact that I gotta study, and they go home. You can have somebody who's like, well, I got this, I can help you get there. No, I need you to move. Just leave me alone until I finish these finals. That's all I need you to do right now. And that shows that you care about me. And not somebody that's always like, I need to spend this time with you, or we gotta be together. No, we can be together if you back up and I can finish this test on time. So, and get some grades right. So, yeah, I agree with you. Put it this way. Dating be fun, where I'm just out and we just gonna go out, we're gonna dance, we're gonna go home, I ain't gonna see you no more. That's cool. We can do that. If that's all I want, then that's fine. We just having a good time. But if I decide that I'm really looking for a relationship, then I'm looking for someone that's gonna add to my life and not bring it down. So, who's gonna add to your life? Who's gonna do those things? So, you know, what's up?
Sorry, I'm trying to get the mic. He did. I want to just say, I think a lot of times with my millennial peers, we were talking.
What's a millennial?
You talking my age?
No, I mean, what's the age range for a millennial? I thought it was 40.
Isn't it like
Is it 40?
25 to...
No.
Isn't it like...
But it goes by years. So it's from like, it goes by the years, like.
94
Whatever years
to
are.
like...
So y'all not millennials?
No, Gen Z.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to see what year it is. Okay.
I think
Okay.
we came up and if you were deep in the church, we were taught to date, to marry. But now, as I'm on my second husband, I feel like I should have been taught to date, get to know somebody, then marry them. I know it sounds so super easy.
No.
And I may be saying it wrong, but I feel like there was a step in between before you was supposed to talk about, like, I wasn't just supposed to date you. I was supposed to, okay.
And before you do, if you listen to my podcast on dating, one of the things I talk about, and I know some of you guys won't know, is I talked about good times and how JJ and Thelma went on dates. On Tuesday, he went out with some group. They went to the dinner. He went dancing on Saturday with somebody else, but he went out with multiple people. I think people should, when you're young, you should date multiple people. You shouldn't be settling down until you know what you want, the type of person that you want. Because if you only go out with one person, you only gonna know what that one person offers you. So you don't even know what other people can bring to the table. And if you, because it's like, I like him. He's giving me this, and this is great. But you don't know all the other stuff he was missing because you never had any more dates. But if so, date. You should go out on multiple dates, date multiple people, and that's me and Israel had a little thing.
Don't you
date,
do it.
not sex.
Don't you? He did.
I'm not talking about sex because what happens is when you have sex with people, you get emotional, which clouds your judgment on who they are. So, but you should go out on multiple dates with multiple people to figure out what you want. And then as you start narrowing it down, it's like, yo, this person right here, I need to really get to know them. And now I may, as they say, go steady with you. You the one I'm going to lock in with. I said they used to say it. I don't really say now. But I'm locked in with you now. So now that you locked in with this person, now you take even more time to develop that relationship and bring out, okay, where is this person going? Where are they taking me or trying to take me? Do I want to go there? You know, so now you can, but you got to go out. You can't go out with one person one time, have one date in your life and say this is the I mean, not to say it can't happen because people have done it, but in order to get more information, you need more people. So yeah, man.
Research purpose.
Oh wait, before you go, Jordan, millennial are people that are born between 81 and 96.
There we go.
81 and 96. Okay, cool.
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, but I agree with what both of y'all said actually. But for me, I think it's crazy that like there are people my age engaged or getting married or having kids, which no shame to anybody. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. That's just not for me. But for me, it's like before I get married or even try to settle down with somebody, it's like I gotta figure out how I am by myself before how I am with you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. If you don't know you, how can you know that this person is for you? And at 18, it's really hard to know yourself. You're going to change by 21.
Right.
Who I was at 18 is not who I was at 21.
Yep.
Thank God who I was at 21 is not who I was at 13. So we will change so many times but I needed to know who I was. I had to go through some stuff to just figure out who am I.
You even changed marriages.
Oh yeah. Because again, you got different people, so hopefully you learn something from the last one. So so you grow from that. I ain't gonna take the same garden to the next
marriage, and you're like 20 in a marriage, and you turn 30, you a whole different person.
Yeah.
Let's talk on that.
Well, okay.
Okay, let's do 6 episodes today.
So-
Why not? We here. Let's have an all-nighter.
So we're gonna talk on that real quick. I'll tell you this. Because I got married the first time I was 20 years old.
What?
I was 20 years old. I had no clue what marriage was. I just thought, I got a baby, I need to be married. And so I was a terrible husband because I didn't know how to be a husband. So as you grow and as you mess that up and you move on, and I tell people all the time, I actually ended up apologizing to my first wife because I didn't know how to fix us. Not that it was all my fault, but it was my fault. It was my responsibility to fix it. And I wasn't man enough and mature enough to do that. Going into my next marriage, I had a better idea of some of the things I did wrong more than anything else. Not really all the things to do right, because this is a new person, so I got to learn you. But at the same time, I had a better idea of things I did wrong, and I didn't want to do those things again. And so that was the maturity of growing and going into the next marriage. But I think one of the things we don't do, again, take responsibility for it's like, it's so easy to blame the ex. But I was in that too. It wasn't just her or it wasn't just him. You in that marriage too. So I had to take ownership of that and be like, yo, this is, I wasn't good. I mean, again, I wasn't good at I didn't know what to do. I didn't have people in my life that could tell me what to do or give me advice, and I wasn't smart enough to look for advice. And I mean, that's one of the things we do in marriage. You should have a married couple that's your friend, that's like your peer. You should have, and also you should have an older couple that you can go to and get that information and get more information from. But you should also have a younger couple that you can feed into. Because because what happens is those keep you accountable too. They keep you accountable. I gotta go now talk to this couple. I gotta tell them certain things. I can't be living like crazy and I gotta talk to somebody else that I'm trying to help. So it forces you to look at yourself and look at your own marriage. We did marriage fellowships for over 20 years. One of the things that the fellowship did for us, it forced us to, every month, we had to be like, we good? Would I do this? But I didn't want her to have to go in there in that group and say, yeah, he sucked at this. He was bad at this thing all month long, and now he coming in here trying to act like he all thing. So it forced us to work on ourselves and to continue to get better. But yeah, you should have somebody that's younger, marriage if you can find them, or new. And again, they may not be that much younger in age, but maybe they just got married. And so you can feed into them and try to help them along the way, because they're going to hit those same bumps you hit. Every couple does. They're going to hit some bumps in the road, but they need people to help them through it. So, okay. So what you got? You have a question again? Or?
I had a question, but you passed that back real quick. But like, okay, obviously I'm not married. I've never been married.
Right.
But
You really shouldn't even date, honestly. Just don't date. And definitely don't do the sex thing. Like, never. I agree with him.
But what if in that relationship y'all got problems or whatever, and you try to fix that? Like, where do you go from there?
In a dating relationship?
Yeah.
I always say, when you date somebody, especially early, dating is the best time. If you ain't treating me well while we dating, then it's all downhill after that. Because they ain't gonna get better. So in reality, we gonna have a conversation. I need to be able to express to you what I like and what I don't like, what I need and what I don't need. And then it's on you to make the change based off of my need. If you ain't willing to make that change, I need to bounce. Because you just my girlfriend, you just my boyfriend. We ain't connected. I leave anytime. So either if you, because what happens is, if you're not willing to correct yourself while we dating, trust me, if we mess around and get married, you really ain't gonna fix nothing.
Right.
So but it's on me to express what I need. And don't ever assume that somebody else knows what you need. I can't even assume to this day that my wife know what I need all the time. I gotta tell her if I need something extra. If she ain't giving me something, it's my responsibility to tell her. I can't hold her accountable for anything I tell her. And the same for me. So always be willing to share what you need and the things that you want. And then you will find out if that person is willing to adapt. So, all right, this went a lot further and on a little bit more than we expected. But I had fun, and I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope you people, everybody, the people that's watching, that y'all enjoyed it a little bit. Yeah, my niece and my nephew, and we just chopped it up a little bit, trying to enjoy it. But I hope you also got something out of it. Like I always say, I'm giving you my opinion from my viewpoints, from my life experience. Dig deeper for yours. Get more information. I just want you to think about what I'm saying. And then you dig and get more information for whatever suits your life. And then you fix that. So this, again, I hope it helped you. I hope you can take something from it. Again, continue to listen to the podcast. We are everywhere that you can get a podcast and on YouTube. So thank you again to my niece for my cup, and I appreciate that. And she's gonna make sure that you can get something too.
Since my government is all the way out there, we gotta talk to our IT guy. And everybody knows I'm Rob. Where my cup at? Just saying, I'm a Rob.
Merch is available.
Yeah, merch, hey, as you said, the merch is available. So again, we'll put it out there so you can see where it is. And I appreciate you guys. And remember, just try to be happy. Man. Don't stress over the small stuff. Life is short, but we have a good time as much as you can. Deal with your issues. Deal with you first, and then deal with other people. Fix you first. That's all you can. Only person you can fix is you. So again, if you haven't anything, please put some comments in there. I hope the family made you laugh a little bit, made you think a little bit. If y'all like anything they said, just talk to me. Don't talk to my family. That's my niece and nephew. Be careful.
Pause will be placed.
But again, I like comments. If you got some, feel free to share them. So with that
the people had questions for real today. I didn't have to make nothing up. People really had questions.
People really had questions this time, so we cool. So when y'all watch, y'all always hear us talk about the people, because I'm a man of the people. I like to hear the people. Unfortunately, the only people I had was Israel. So now I got some other people.
I was mad people. I was Felicia one time.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
So now we got people. So again, appreciate the people. We got to go out, and we just want you guys, make sure you register, subscribe and do all that stuff.
Like and subscribe.
All that stuff. And we're going to get at you next time. So as we go out, we just want to say peace and blessings to you all.
You have an out phrase?
Nope.
That's it?
Yeah, I can just vibe to vibe.